We have a Taraq called the Golden Children by the master, Parnabab Yanun, that I will use to break down the Golden Children because this question comes up a lot as well. So this is known as Taraq, the way. This particular scroll is a series of revelations to the Nuwaubians. Taraq, yeah, is the way. So there could be many ways, but the way that you really want, when you see the definite article, is Taraq. And this scroll is called the Golden Children. Now, the thing about this is that a lot of people will say Golden Children relates to people of the sun. So we're all golden children, but in this Taraq is specifically relating to a specific time frame from 1973 to 2003, when these golden children incarnated. So let's read it. It says, Likum, your karadu, the word for children is karadu. Yeah, so when you put the you, that's plural. Your karadu, right, children, are really not you. They only come through your DNA. The golden children started their final incarnation into chosen persons in 1973 AD, on up to 2003 AD. Here it says over a 40-year span of time, but obviously that's actually 30 years if you calculate it, right? So this is why it's good when you find any typographical errors, you know, we have to make it known, right? So it's 30 years, right? It says that these children started to incarnate, but not all children, not even Negroid children, only selected ones. So these children are selected ones that can come from anywhere, yeah? Not just Negroid. Not as many as you would think. So they don't know who they are themselves. So a lot of them don't even know who they are. They may feel strange, not of this planet, Kawak, or cosmos. Many have great Seqen powers. To learn, they see things with a third eye, an inner vision. Many separate from others and appear to others to be mentally unbalanced and are called nuts, insane, crazy, strange, different, or loners. All right, so this is where a lot of people, when they hear the qualities of these golden children, or the fact that they may be called nuts, insane, crazy, strange, different, and they're loners, people just say, oh, that sounds like me. It doesn't necessarily mean you're a golden child in terms of the ones we're referring to within this time frame, okay? So they range in all ages between that time that the last was born 2003 AD. So this is 2003 AD and this is 1973 AD. The last was born in 2003 AD. And it says here, this is very important. Don't be fooled and don't fool yourself into thinking that you are a golden child. If you remember the movie that Eddie Murphy was in, it was called Golden Child, yeah? It kind of relates to this and you'll see why, but yeah, check out that movie, Golden Child. So don't fool yourself into thinking that it's you or that you're a golden child or you gave birth to a golden child. You may be one, or you may have given birth to one, but don't claim it or force it. It started with females, right? So the golden children started with females who in turn gave birth to males, so that these two would be drawn together to birth golden children, or Wahu Kharad, one child. And because a male and female has birthed one golden child, does not by far mean all their offsprings would be golden children. They are not born in one place on the planet, yet they all have, or each has, to be activated by touch and tone by Parnabab Yanun. So even though they may be, they still need to be activated by a touch from the master teacher Parnabab Yanun. They are also called, this is another prompt, star children. Okay, so they are also called star children. They are also called star children and are very gifted. Many have been altered, right? So they've been altered by janas or sex or food or music, yeah? Habits. They've lost their etheric link to the Akhahu or the oversouls who sent them here. Now, this is important for a golden child. It says smoking, drinking, lust, doing things to their bodies like tattoos, piercing, tongues, and other body cutting and distortions, chemicals on skin, hair, bleached hair, and colored contacts. All right. So many of them have been altered by these things I've just mentioned, like, you know, sex, food, music, habits, and they've lost their etheric core to their oversouls who sent them here. And smoking, drinking, lust, doing things to their bodies like tattoos, piercing their tongues, and other body cutting and distortions, chemicals on their skin, hair, bleach, and colored contacts. It says, why, you may ask? Because the way the sunlight touches them and it affects their being inside and outside in. So for you see, if your hair is black in color, it attracts the sun's rays. If you bleach or change the color to something lighter, as you know, the sun rays are gonna deflect, right? So if their color is dark, it will attract the sun. If it's light, it will then reflect it or deflect it. Bright or light colors. If you deform your body, the weight, the speed and time, the system is altered because the growth of new blood, the cells, the whole system of rebirth in the physical body is changed by any and all alterations. So the minute you alter yourself in any way, it actually affects you. So this applies to the golden children as well. If not a star child, right? So if they're not a star child, it does not matter. Yet, if you are a golden child, it does matter. If it is already done, it can be corrected. So even though you may already have altered yourself with tattoos, etc., that can still be corrected. And it says 29, sleeping with the wrong humans also has an effect on golden children. Not all Nuwapians are golden children, yet all people on this planet, regardless of their race, can be saved by them, by the golden children, when the time comes and they are in Wu-Sabat or Wu-Nuwa. For each golden child born from 1973 to 2003 AD, at the exact same time of their birth, there was also a fire child. Yeah, so for each child, golden child born from 1973 AD to 2003 AD, at the exact same time of their birth, there was a fire child born the exact opposite in nature. Their first was born a male child first in 1973 AD. They do deform their bodies in all ways and are those who have spread it world over. Their music, right, we're talking about these fire children, their music, food, lust and body distortion has led to many golden children being seduced into following these fire children, deceived by the offer of finance, success, wealth, accepting them as karadu, children of fire, instead of as golden children. Many have surrendered their souls to these fire children. There's a big difference, a distinction between star children, known as golden children, and fire children. Because there's always, for each, positive, there's an equal negative. So, many golden children have been forced to be like others by their own family and friends, or be rejected, left alone, denied a normal, happy life. This will not affect their realignment with the oversouls that sent them. The time for the true awakening is upon us, I was supposed to touch them between June the 26th, 2003, right? So he was supposed to touch these golden children during that time period, but because remember, it said previously that for them to be activated, Parnabab Yanun had to touch them. But coincidentally, before 2003, in 2002, was when he was kidnapped. So the threat, or they knew that him touching these children was going to activate them. As you see, the children of fire prevented that. Yeah? Be careful not to hurt one of these children because of their strange behavior. They can be so different in so many ways. They are many times misunderstood, and some are diagnosed as having what? ADD, attention deficit disorder. Okay? Of their extraordinary qualities or psychic, telepathic, creative, healing, clairvoyant, some start to read very young, draw, sing, write poems regardless of age. Some hate school education, and they even hate people. They have an awareness of outer beings that others don't seem to know anything about. They are protecting themselves. They are the next 9 ether. They're the next 9 ether evolutionary. Yeah, 9 ether evolution quantum leap to 10th ether recycles. All right, so that's verse 47. They are the next 9 ether evolution quantum leap to 10th ether recycles. Now, or should we say 10, which is 1 plus nothing, yeah? So 1 plus nothing, the return to etheric. So what does that mean? So we say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, when it says the evolutionary cycle, because once you get to here, it's just starting all over again, right? So you can see that. So that 10. So it's like from 1 to 0. All right, let's carry on. So being 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The reverse of the barothry gland, ether, 10, 9 ether, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 spark or force. From hydrogen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 from ether, nothingness to hydrogen, which is somethingness. No weight or weightless existence onto weight. The sum of all things reversed to nothing, yet existence. Things that do not matter are a matter of fact matter, and matter becomes the crystal children of the crystal city. Many colors, I'm skipping the noir pic just to kind of not confuse people or miss Batia, and so we can get through it quite quickly. Many colors shine forth from crystals, as each has a mode and a speed and incarnation. Raha Achatet Har Amun is in the crystal and reflects crystal light in force, whereas Zedi reflects green and others share the same reflections of heat, energy, force, vigor, activity, energetic, and can energize or de-energize at will. Okay, so you can energize or de-energize at will, coming from ether into the sum of things and going back the other way. So it says, which is a result of what color forces are you or what you became. With others, they can be transfigured. As they speed up vibrations, they transcend states of existence, so resulting in an interview in the evolutions of Homo sapiens or Homo sapiens and the starters who planted the physical tree of evolution. It is an intervention in human genetic makeup to bring about new beings, a genetic upgrade in the DNA from 46. So the 46 chromosomes, this is a genetic upgrade, right? So by these Karadu children, many now grown humanine or humanity is experiencing a quantum step up in its evolutionary role. These golden children incarnate to guide the steps of others into higher consciousness, both spiritually and physically, so as to be able to live in other worlds, right? The experience is an intergenerational one, and that such star children have intelligence in their genes, yeah, and intuitive abilities to perform the task once Parnabab Yanun has touched them. Know that a consistent genetic line plays an important factor in this phenomenon. If you look at people born from 1973 to the year 2003 AD, the comparison with the children before then and after then, it will testify that there is a tremendous difference. They look different, act different, and think different. Much is being lost by the fire children's offers of this world and its offspring. The first thing they notice are the bling bling, or gold and diamonds of the rings, chains and grills. So when you look in the music industry, the hip hop world, you see how everybody's pushing the grills. They like the bling bling, the rings, the chains. Yet it was the gold their inner being wanted on their bodies, then in their mouths. They don't know it. Sad yet true. Many have and are losing their powers each day and shadow hour. Look at today's statistics on the development stages in young children today from 1973 to 2003. Record studies will prove there is a change in mind and body. Recent genetic research has found this change is startling yet real. There are unexplainable anomalies in some genetic history, and in 2003 AD, it was discovered that 223 genes do not have the required predecessors on their genomic evolutionary tree. These extra genes are completely mixed in the invertebrate phrase, so they can only explain them and their presence as a recent change. New beings, new genetic material. These 23 genes are 2/3 the difference between the chimpanzee, monkey, and the Homo sapiens, and include important psychological and psychiatric function, so it can be proven. Yeah, so Parnabab Yanun is just giving you the scientific methods and way of you can go and look at these children to see that there's a distinct difference between children that were born before this time span and the children that were born after, and you see that there is a significant difference. So these golden children are real extraterrestrials, Plan ET, linked to those under the seas of this planet who came here long ago. So I was mentioning previously about the Meldekians and the beings that were in the waters many, many millions of years, all right, before other beings came here. So it says, they're real extraterrestrials, Plan ET, linked to those under the seas of this planet who came here long ago. The Mukasu, Caucasoids, know about this, yet try and keep it from your ears with all kinds of stories, lies and denials, like mermaids' existence. So it's saying that, you know, mermaids existed and they try to hide it. They know about these differences in these children. The golden children are changed as a result of contacts with beings from the undersea world who modified their parents' reproductive DNA starting in 1963 AD. And after the first females were born, most did not recognize any change. Then in the 80s, they birthed sons and daughters who later mixed, and now you had these new beings out of control. These days, because things move too slow for them on this planet or above the waters on the planet. Living chromosomes function just like a holographic computer using indigenous DNA laser radiation, being able to modulate certain tones and frequency patterns onto laser-like rays which influence DNA frequency and change the genetic information formation. How and why is Pa Nabab needed? You remember the first time you heard his voice, if it had an effect on you. His voice is really 3 tones in one. And since the basic structure of DNA, alkaline pairs, and language is of the same structure, no DNA decoding is necessary. A person can simply use words and sentences of tone and arrangement, or proper words and the proper sentences, and this will bring about an effect. So this is like those words, those trigger words, which I'll come back to in a minute. I was born with this encoded in my DNA. As I speak, it has an effect on those who are being prepared, and my voice tone can open the stargate. Yet, of course, the frequency has to be correct. The time must also be exact. It's the language of DNA. We, in the beginning, were the who. All right, so that's the who of ancient Hammam, or Egypt, or logos, where you read in the beginning was the word. The word there is logos. So it says here in Greek, or kalimat in Arabic. So that's kalimat. So all of these is dealing with the word, right? Why? Because it says, referring to the word, and it says parmadat, which is the word, a tone, sound spoken by a being in tone, and who, yeah, or who he became Yah, yeah, because the became flesh, yeah, because remember in that quote it says, and the word became flesh, and all people like to quote that. I think that's John 1:1. Or this Yah became the tetragram, which is like this, yeah? And a lot of people can't see it, but this is where it's missing the vowels, yeah? So you see this Yah, or what shall I say, this who he, the first was who, became who he, and this who he became this, right? But you can't, it became Yah, but when you look at it that way, look, HWHY, it says like who he. This is where it became Yahweh. That's why I put the vowels of the A and the E in there, but it's not here. But it says, and dwells amongst you, an incarnated being, which is the word munzal. Munzal means incarnate, who has the tone, the sound or word to move and change matter, cells, excuse me, and atoms. So he is called what? He is called atom, yeah, which you know as atoms. All right, so that actually went through the whole of the Golden Children. So to kind of like summarize what it's saying is that there are special children born between 1973 AD and 2003 AD, which is a span of 30 years. And these children are called golden children or star children, right? Golden children or star children. And these children are special, they have special abilities, special powers, they're loners, they're taught to be crazy, nuts, etc. because the way they are is that they were sent here by the oversouls who sent them here to help, because their job is to help when we're going through these changes, to activate and guide people, all right? But the problem is that at the same time, going back to this thing where we say Yahweh, or good or agreeable and disagreeable, there's always the chaos side to confuse people. So the fire children were born at the exact same time as the star children. And their job is there to confuse you, because they also look and act like, you know, they have things like the tattoos, they wear the gold and the jewelry, and a lot of them are very talented and gifted. So they're in the music industry, they're attracted to the finance and to the money. And so the golden children or the star children, because they kind of relate to the fire children, they get led astray by the fire children who are really there to do the opposite. But the reason these star children don't know it is because they have to be first activated by Pana Babyanun. And how he activates them is that by speaking a tone, which he has 3 tones in one. So his voice is very unique. So when he speaks and they hear that voice, it activates them and it changes their DNA, their atoms, right? And this is what he's explaining, that word atom or atom ray or Pana Babyanun is that being that is the one they're talking about in the book of Revelations, in the New Testament, when they say, in the beginning was the Word. And the Word is Logos, which, you know, in terms of tones, it can be also low ghost. Yeah. And this is that low ghost is tying into these fire children, because there's always, you know, the flip mode, if you like. And that's the word logos in Arabic as well, or the word there is kalimat, which is the word. And in ancient Egypt, Hu was the god of creative will, or the being that manifests things by speaking the words. And that's where you get the Hu-He, because the Hu-He deals with, you know, the manifestation of speaking a tone or vibration, or that it would then manifest. That Hu-He in religion became the tetragram in Hebrew, where you get YHWH. But if you look at it going backwards that way, it's really telling you that it's Hu-He, which became Yah and Way, yeah, which is agreeable and disagreeable. But really, it's the real story is talking about Atum being able to speak these words and activate these children, and to be able to touch them and activate them. So he's basically saying that just the spoken word, by way of as you read the scrolls, you can see that they have significant power. All right. So I hope that's given a clear explanation of the golden children, because sometimes people try to claim it because they may feel that, you know, they're a loner or they misunderstood, and so they just think, oh, I'm a golden child. But no, he's talking about specific golden children. He also says that we are golden children in terms of children of the sun, because the gold deals with the sun. So it's speaking about these specific children that were born between that time span. I know it says in the scroll 40 years, but when you add it up, it's actually 30. But, you know, there may be a typographical error or something that will be corrected. But yeah, so that's dealing with the golden children. He said, don't force it, don't claim it. And just because you have a child doesn't mean that your child is a golden children or golden child. And even if you have one, doesn't mean that all your children are going to be golden children. And it's not limited to the Negroid race only. And it's in different parts of the planet where these golden children can be. So it's really talking about the fact that those children are going to be responsible. That's why Wu-Sabat is here, really. If you feel that way, a lot of them are ridiculed, and it ties into, you know, when the gates are being opened. That's what he's talking about. These beings were able to open the gates, like Uncle Natan, and, you know, Nefertiti, where they were golden children. They were able to open the gates, because if you look at the Dendera map, it shows you, you know, the gates and these beings that have to be there to open the gates. They have a double resonance or double frequency, where, you know, they have to be there to help open the gates. And these gates lead to different dimensions and different places where Ptah closed a lot of these gates, because to avoid beings coming in and out. And now you have to know which gates, or how to get there, or how to open these gates. And, you know, for those in the know, you know about the northeast gate. So I hope that's helped with that question. But yeah, it's the being with the green light, Pana Babyanun, or Atum Ray. Remember the Ray stands for the sun as well, or Reye. Yeah, people say Ra, but Reye deals with the sun or these sun children who help spread Wu-Sabat across the world by those who are activated by his tone. All right? So yeah, until next time, we would like to say Wadu and Tawukum.